Welcome back to the news at 10. We cross over to Abuja now. Here's Yemisi Ikbaye. Yemisi.
Hello, Ijoma. Thank you for joining us and welcome to the nation's capital. The police in Delta State have announced the kidnap of another traditional ruler in the state barely 3 weeks after the kidnap and eventual killing of the monarch of Ubulu Oku. Spokesperson of the Delta State Police Command, Mrs. Celestina Kalu, in a statement said the monarch of Olomoro community in Isoko South, local government area of the state, His Royal Highness Isaiah Agaza I, was abducted this morning from his palace. The police say the royal father was taken away in a dark green sports utility vehicle. Mrs. Kalu notes efforts are being made to track down the culprits. At least 10 people have been killed and 40 others sustained injuries today after 2 male suicide bombers attacked a market in Gombe town, in Gombe local government area in Adamawa state. One of the bombers was dressed as a female. Eyewitnesses told our correspondent that some of those injured are receiving attention at the Federal Medical Center in Yola, the state capital. The attackers set off the explosive devices as some vigilantes attempted to stop them. The Nigerian military has reopened the 130-kilometer Damaturu Road, making it accessible for the movement of people, goods and services. The Damaturu Road is one of the strategic entry points to Yobe and Borno states from other parts of the northeast. After a tour of some portions of the road, the General Officer commanding 3 Division of the Nigeria Army, Brigadier General Mohammed Aliyu, said the bad portions of the road need urgent attention.
It's a ride that took over 10 minutes to get to the Damaturu Road from the capital of Yobe State, Damaturu. This 130-kilometer road is one of the strategic entry points to Yobe and Borno states from other parts of the northeastern states. The General Officer commanding 3 Division of the Nigerian Army has come to see the level of destruction and how safe the area is. This area was under the control of Boko Haram terrorists and was recaptured by the military a few months ago. Life seems to be returning to normal gradually in the area. After the tour, the Army commander complained about the deplorable state of the road and the need for attention.
I have been on the road. I came back from the road on Friday. From Biu to Damaturu through the same road. The only challenge I saw here is erosion that has affected many parts of the road. So it is going to be difficult for people to pass, which I have already told my military leadership, and I will explain same to His Excellency, the Governor of the state, so that some work will be done on the road. Because if I allow you to drive there now, you will just go into a ditch.
Assurances of security in the area are also given by the GOC.
We are doing everything possible to ensure that the socio-economic activities in this area start as soon as possible, and we are working towards that. And I assure you that sooner than you expect it, all those places will start their normal life. And I know the life the people have been living in, and it is really disrupted. Farming activities is not going on, commercial activities is not going on. So within the mandate we have, the speedy restoration of those activities is our principal desire.
The construction of Damaturu Road was awarded by the Yobe State government during the heat of the insurgency, but work was thwarted by the continuous activities of the insurgents along the road.
And that's all we have from the capital city. Back to you, Ijoma.
Thanks a lot, Yemisi. And 40 people are now known to have died from Lassa fever in different states across Nigeria. The Ministry of Health is trying to prevent more deaths by educating people on the disease. And information about Lassa fever is now reaching the rural communities. Our correspondent Yomi Otaigbe reports.
Statistics from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control show that as of January the 26th, 2016, 2 new confirmed Lassa fever cases were reported from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and Ondo State. Since the outbreak began in the last quarter of 2015, 173 suspected cases have been reported in 18 states of the Federation, with 64 confirmed and a total of 39 deaths in the confirmed cases. To curb the spread and increase public health awareness on Lassa fever, several state governments have embarked on awareness campaign and surveillance. In Akwa Ibom State, billboards with messages on Lassa fever can be seen in some strategic places. The government also advises residents against habits that encourage the spread of the disease, such as dirty environment.
Going through jingles in all the languages, BBO, Anang, Eket, Oron, and English, telling people about this and telling them how to prevent it. And if they suspect anybody, they can call. They're given certain numbers.
In Kogi State, health workers at the Federal Medical Center in Lokoja are being retrained on infection control measures.
Special barrier nursing procedures should be taken into consideration.
With fatality already recorded in Delta State, the government has been up and about concerning Lassa fever.
We are here to sensitize the public to watch out for fever, especially fever being treated for malaria or typhoid that is not responding. You need to respond to the nearest health center. We are bringing some materials that will distribute headache, fever, but once the patient starts bleeding from anywhere, nose, mouth, then it becomes an emergency.
Moving down to Oyo State, health workers are on the move campaigning against Lassa fever and other infectious diseases from community to community. From Ondo to Osun and some other states, the sensitization continues. Traditional rulers and religious leaders are also enlisted in the fight against Lassa fever. Yomi Otaigwe reporting for Channels Television News.
And from health, we take a look at some business news for the day. Here's Anne Wawudu.
Hello, welcome to Business News. Nigerians have been encouraged to allow implementation of the new electricity tariffs for better power supply and improved customer service. The executive director of the Association of Nigerian Electricity Distributors, Sunday Odunton, said this on Business Morning today. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari is seeking intensified intra-African trade and the acceleration of economic integration across the continent. The president, who bared his mind on the banquet in his honor at the end of his state visit to Kenya, recommended the implementation of all bilateral agreements between Nigeria and Kenya. He hopes that the two countries will continue to build on a mutually beneficial trade and economic relations between them. On his part, Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta said both leaders have agreed to intensify bilateral cooperation on trade, investment, and the fight against corruption and terrorism. Fidelity Bank is extending its small and medium enterprise funding proficiency to the northern part of Nigeria. At the bank SME conference in Kano, views were exchanged on how entrepreneurship financing can boost the economic growth of the region.
Really talk about these issues.
Members of the business community drawn from the 19 northern states of the Federation gathered here in Kano for the Fidelity Bank Small and Medium Enterprise Conference. The session opens with a presentation from the Chief Executive of Fidelity Bank, Mr. Nnamdi Okonkwo, on the place of his bank in the SME space.
We love SMEs. We know that if everybody does not finance small businesses, we cannot create the new Dantatas. We cannot create the new Dangotes. We cannot create the new Isiaku Rabius. And that's why, as a bank, we are saying to ourselves, somebody must support this segment of the economy.
Mr. Okonkwo's presentation kicks off a panel discussion on how to intensify SME investments in the northern region.
Given all the scenario, what is it that SMEs would need to be doing going forward? What sort of industries should they go into?
Kasina can close this country. You don't need to import anything. They can do it from the cotton production, to ginneries, to oil mills, to the complete garment industries, local and Katsina can do that.
And more significantly is a compassionate call from this physically challenged academic.
We would like the Fidelity Bank and Kano State government to now, in fact, finance persons with disabilities. We have a lot of things to do if we are supported.
There was this rule that at least one branch should have like easy access for people with disabilities, like a ramp. And of course, that was the starting point, and the banks were expected to increase from there.
For the Emir of Kano, Muhammad Sanusi, who was the guest of honor at the ceremony, economic diversification is impossible without the SMEs.
We can only achieve economic excellence if we pay greater attention to small business administration. Otherwise, Nigeria may stand the risk of losing all its economic potentiality. Because even in the most developed nations of the world, like the United States, billions of dollars are spent annually to help small-scale businesses.
Fidelity Bank has over 1.3 billion naira investments in SMEs and a balance sheet size of 1.2 trillion naira. With this track record, SMEs in the northern states may be in for a soft landing with the lender.
The Nigerian equities market ended the week session in the green zone, with the all-share index settling at 23,916.15. Tempela Shaju has details.
Thank you for joining in on Stock Market Reports. Underpriced stocks remained on demand across most sectors of the equities market on Friday as the key benchmark index gained 134 basis points to close the weekend in the positive territory. Heading towards the 24,000 psychological line, the all-share index settled off the curve at 23,916.15, with the market capitalization appreciating at 8.22 trillion naira. It was a green session for Nestle, the topmost stock of the day at 739 naira 91 kobo, with Seplat and Guinness helping to sustain the market's positive momentum by 5% each. Regardless of the bullish trend, however, investors traded off on Dangote Cement, UPL, and Ashoka Cement. There was, however, over 30 million transactions each on the shares of FCMB and Diamond Bank, while Access Bank closed with 29.65 million trades on Thursday. And at the sound of the closing gong, over 241 million shares had been exchanged in 3,270 deals for a value of over 2 billion naira. And that's it on the Stock Market Report. I'm Tempela Shaju.
Thanks a lot, Temple. And for major markets around the globe, the mixed sentiments continued. Let's check out the closing figures. Well, that's all on business news for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I am Anne Nwawadu. It's back to you, Ijoma.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Serena Williams on course to equal Steffi Graf's record of 22 Grand Slam titles as she battles Angelique Kerber of Germany in the Australian Open final. And that will be on sports. Do stay with us.